welcome to the groundbreaking for the remodel of the Municipal building. I'm Alex Diefelies, acting chair for the next 2 months. To my left is Ken Parker, the other co-chair, Chuck Worcester, Sandy Mariotti, Matt Busey, and Simon Dennison, all members of the current select board. At this point, I want to invite Matt up, who is chair of the Municipal Building Advisory Committee, just to make a couple comments, if we could, please. Matt?
Hello, everyone. Ooh, this is loud.
If you put it up closer, you can hear
Yeah.
it, or I'll turn it down.
No, that's okay.
Watch your head.
I'll just hold it away. Well, I'm glad to see this moment happening. It was not clear that it would many times. This is a project that's about 60 years in the making. It was about 55 years of decay and then 5 years of wrangling, which have resulted in the groundbreaking here for this building. And I think what's really important about this project is that public buildings should carry a positive message to the community they serve. And I think that the committee that has seen this project through from the very, very beginnings through several phases and to the final design phase has done a good job of bringing a design along with Breadloaf Corporation that demonstrates the ideals of the town, character of the town, and the goals of the town for the future in all sorts of ways: energy conservation, transparency of the building, materials being used, and so forth. So I'm very happy with the result of this. I'm looking forward to seeing it digging the first shovel with all of you.
Thank you, Matt. At this time, I'd like to introduce to the public our town manager, Hunter Reesberg. And I know Hunter doesn't want to say anything, but please come up and make some short comments, would you please?
On behalf of the users of the building.
Hunter is also vice chair of the committee, and I see Alan Johnson from the Energy Commission, who is also on the committee.
Thank you. I will say that we're very, very appreciative. The staff is very appreciative of this effort. The town offices moved in here, I believe it was in the 1950s, when the building was no longer deemed to be suitable for housing the local school. Somehow it was okay for us to use for the last 50 or 60 years, and that's fine. But anything that's 130 plus years old needs a little refurbishment, ourselves included, I'm sure. And so we're really thrilled that it's finally come time to give this building a new life and to hopefully serve the community for the next 100 years. And we can't start soon enough, but we really do want to thank the taxpayers of the community for the support and confidence that they've sent our way. And we hope the building will serve them well, as it will future staff, generations of staff. And I'd like to thank the board and the MBAC, the Municipal Building Advisory Committee. We've had a lot of people come forward and spend a lengthy time pondering this project and giving their input and their expertise to the project as it now stands today. And the Board of Selectmen have stood fast in their support for this because it's for the long-term benefit of the community, and we would like to thank them as well. So we've been surrounded by support and positive thoughts and wishes, and hopefully 11 or 12 months from now we'll be opening this building and we'll move on to the many projects that will follow down the road. There never seems to be an end to those. So we thank the MBAC, we thank the Board of Selectmen, and most of all we thank the taxpayers.
Thank you, Hunter. That's pretty good for you, short and sweet. At this time, we have two gentlemen from Breadloaf with us. First, I'd like to introduce Michael McLaughlin, who is Vice President of Breadloaf. Would you like to come forward and make a couple comments, if you would, please?
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Thank you very much for the opportunity to work with you. I know our team has put in a lot of hours and time, and we're very excited to be part of the start of the rejuvenation of the downtown Hartford area. So very much appreciate this. Breadloaf has been in business for over 46 years, We look at this as a great opportunity to continue to have the communities that we work in grow. So I'm going to actually turn it over to Chris Huskin, who you all know, to explain a little bit about what's going to be happening. But again, thank you, and thank you to the community and the taxpayers.
Thanks, Mike. Matt and Hunter actually covered a few of the significant items that this project represents. A 100-year vision to rejuvenate this iconic building in your downtown, and also Matt alluded to the fact that the building is going to be opened up greatly. So right now, as you walk through these double doors and you walk down the double-loaded corridor that serves the rooms that you really don't see through, and you don't have the connection to the exterior because the windows have been greatly reduced in their size. The concept that you see on the sign board illustrates that the whole center section is going to be transparent from front to right through to the other side of the building, as well as there was a clear decision made early by Hunter and others that opening up the interior of the building was going to benefit everyone and give visitors to the building simple orientation from that main circulation space. So in terms of the timing of the project, we're going to get started next week with the actual construction. There will be weeks and weeks of demolition. In fact, the building is getting gut renovated from the inside. We're going to be creating a very, very robust thermal envelope on the exterior, which is going to take some significant time, including quad glazed exterior windows, very, very high performing windows, which we're very excited about, a mechanical system that's really state of the art. And so you'll see some things beginning right away, and other things you're going to wonder, wow, what are they doing inside of that building? And really, there is a lot of old plumbing, piping, electrical work, and so on that has to come out before we can start to put things back together. The other interesting thing is that this building, as you know, is in the floodplain, so we have to do some interesting flood mitigation measures, which are down in the basement level. And again, you won't see those things happening for a while, but as time goes, you'll start to see some of these very mature shrubs and things come down to install the proper drainage around the building and so on. So as Hunter said, the goal is in the next 11 to 12 months, we're going to see over time this project come back to life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. At this time, I want to invite everybody, the select board and also members of the municipal building committee, to kind of split up, half of you on the right side of the asphalt, the other half on the left side, and we will do the groundbreaking.
The 108 Barwood groundbreaking. I want to introduce Ken Parker behind me in a few minutes, but if anybody wants a schematic of what the end product will look like, I have a few, and there's the agenda here. Thank you for coming out. A wonderful evening. It looks a lot different than we ever imagined it. With that, I'll give the mic to Mr. Parker.
Thanks, Ted. I'm accustomed to this weather. I spent last week down in the Caribbean, and it was like this every day. So I'll take credit for dragging it north, if you don't mind. It's delightful to have it in the 80s and sunny, and have an event like this at a hockey rink and not have to worry about freezing half to death while we're standing around. I'd like to introduce, if I could, my colleagues on the board. I think some of you probably know them. My co-chair, Alex DeFelice, Chuck Worcester, the tallish guy over there in the red shirt, Sandy Mariotti, and the other two tall gents over here, Matt Busey and Simon Dennis. And we're delighted to be here this evening to have a groundbreaking and a formal kickoff, if you will, of a project that's pretty obviously underway. And I could tell you that it is with great pride that we are engaging in this process. It's long overdue, and it's the right thing for us to do. We have the very able contractor, Estes and Gallup. Tim Estes is here, along with a couple of his foremen, Spencer and Phil. And also, of course, our town manager, Hunter, is standing by, overseeing things along with our architect, Dave Lawrence. So that pretty much puts the team together that is responsible, along with Tad, for ushering this process in this facility along to the next stage. I probably don't need to recount for you what this facility has been over the years, from the time that Wendell Barwood and Windsor Brown, Stuart Rouse, and a number of other business people in the community raised funds in the early 70s to build what was then referred to as a Bureau of Outdoor Recreation facility. It was open on the ends and the sides. The wind blew through like the dickens, and it was not uncommon to find the snow building up on the ice because of the snowstorm that had either raged outside or was ongoing. But it did one thing for us. It really honored the efforts of Phil Boutillier and Mona Boutillier to create a hockey program in this community. Phil and Mona were instrumental in getting youth hockey and high school hockey started in Hartford. And I'm sure that Mona could regale you with tales of Phil and she out on the tennis courts, which are over near the middle school, at night or early in the morning, flooding the tennis court to provide an ice surface for a fledgling high school hockey team. It was not without their efforts. Had it not been for their efforts, Hartford hockey probably would have taken quite some time to get a foothold in this community. So our hats are off to Mona and in memory of her husband as well for the great work that they've done. Wendell Barwood was instrumental in putting the finance piece together to make this facility happen. And I had the distinct pleasure of having breakfast with Wendell virtually every morning, and we fought the battles of this facility for several years. Wendell was a mentor at times to me as I started skating and refereeing and involving myself with the activities that went on in this facility. And I can tell you that the changes that have occurred here in the facility itself since the early 70s have been significant, but nothing approximating the milestone that the effort that this community is now putting forward to make this facility into a multi-purpose year-round useful arena for both skating as well as a variety of other as yet undetermined activities that will go on hopefully on a year-round basis. We owe a great debt to the people of Hartford for their support for this project, and we, even though we've had to scale back a little bit on the scope of it from what was originally envisioned, the mission still stands. The facility will, when it's finished, realize the potential of meeting the needs of the community on a much broader basis than it has in the past. Judy Barwood, Wendell's wife, is with us this evening, and I know Judy had to tolerate a lot from Wendell when it came to talking about and thinking about hockey. He was Mr. Hockey as far as activities surrounding the hockey program are concerned. And he was a dear friend, and I'm pleased to have been able to dedicate a fair amount of my time in honor of a commitment that I made to Wendell a long time ago to see if we can enhance the experience and prolong this facility and the usefulness of it to the youth of Hartford. And I'll tell you, Judy, I appreciate what you did to push Wendell along and in the right direction, and I thank you very much for your support. Mona, we have agreed that the left wing of the building would honor the left wing player Phil Boutillier, and we'll refer to that section as the Phil Boutillier wing of the WABA facility. So I think it's fitting that the two families who have meant so much to Hartford hockey will be honored and memorialized for the great things that they've done. And I thank you all for showing up. I think this is an auspicious opportunity to say to our community, look what we're doing, imagine what this is going to be, and if you haven't had an opportunity to walk around in there, I would encourage you to do so. You may not hear the echo of a whistle yet, but I'm told that probably by the early stages of the season this fall, the facility will be wrapped up and the fruits of the labors will be realized. So with that in mind, I think it's appropriate that maybe some shovels be grabbed here and some hard hats be thrown on, and the select board will do a little bit of a groundbreaking opportunity. We'll have another opportunity when this is finished to have a more public display of our pride in what we're doing, so stay tuned for that as well. Thank you very much. Tim, thank you and your staff, and we look forward to the results of your efforts on our behalf. Okay, board members, you want to come up and...
Start right at the end, right here. Keep going.
Hartford kick line.